On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we celebrate the powerful legacy of Dr. King, and we recommit ourselves to continuing his work to end racial injustice and to help America move one step closer to her founding promise of equality for all. Last March, I visited with an elderly man at the First Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. We were having coffee and donuts in the church basement before the service started. And he told me that more than 50 years earlier, in May of 1961, he had spent 11 hours in that same basement, along with hundreds of people, while a mob outside threatened to burn down the church because it was a sanctuary for civil rights workers. Dr. King was there. He called Attorney General Bobby Kennedy, desperately asking for help. The Attorney General promised to send the Army, but the closest military base was several hours away. So the members of the church and the civil rights workers waited in this sweltering basement, crowded together, listening to the mob outside and hoping the U.S. Army would arrive in time. After the church service, I asked Congressman John Lewis about that night. He had been right there in the church back in 1961 while the mob gathered outside. He'd been in the room during the calls to the Attorney General, and I asked him if he had been afraid that the Army just wouldn't make it in time. And he said he was never, ever afraid. You come to that point where you lose all sense of fear. And then he said something I will never forget. He said his parents didn't want him to get involved in civil rights. They didn't want him to cause trouble, but he had done it anyway. He told me, sometimes it is important to cause necessary trouble. The first civil rights battles were hard fought, and in the past half century, our country has made real progress, but we can't ignore reality. There are those who want to reverse those gains, those who want to take away votes, those who want to make it harder to get an education, those who believe that justice and dignity are reserved only for some people. As we honor Dr. King today, we are reminded that we have much work to do to keep the progress that we have made and to move this country forward. We know where we are headed, and we know what we have to do to continue the fight for full equality. It comes to us to continue this fight, to make, as John Lewis says, the necessary trouble until we can truly say that in America, every citizen enjoys the conditions of freedom. So, thank you, and happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.